it's important to understand. So we've talked a lot about mental toughness, but maybe there are things right now that you have that are the opposite of that. Maybe you have low mental toughness and low self-confidence. You know, I've looked at a lot of people and a lot of things behind low self-confidence and mental toughness, and these are the 6 things that I find the most common. And there was even a part of myself where, there was a time in my life where I was not confident. I didn't have the confidence in my abilities. I didn't have mental toughness. And it showed in my performance. My skill set was not matching, or my skill and abilities was not matching my performance because I wasn't confident and I didn't build the mental toughness to execute my skills to their maximum. So one of the things you'll commonly see amongst people who have low self-confidence or mental toughness is complaining. If you find yourself complaining a lot, that the situation isn't what it is, or oh, this sucks, I can't believe this, then you're not handling the situation. There will always be situations that are not in your favor, that are not what you want them to be. And you can spend your time complaining, or you can spend your time doing something about it. Complaining is a problem-focused mindset. Solution-focused mindset doesn't get stuck on what's wrong. If they complain, it's a very short period of time, and then they're moving on. It's super important that anytime we catch ourselves complaining, we really catch ourselves and then, okay, how do I deal with this? Another thing is self-pity, feeling sorry for oneself. Oh my God, poor me. Why did this happen? Why does this always happen to me? And I'm so unlucky and blah, blah. I've never met anybody who is successful or who has mental toughness and they go through these things. Stop focusing on what sucks. Focus on what you can do right now. You are naturally at a disadvantage to make money trading. Okay, we can sit there and dwell on that all we want and feel sorry for ourselves and, I didn't have the right family for that, and my parents didn't teach me about that, and I don't have enough money and all these things. Or you can sit there and create the situation that you want. Everything that I built, that I have, that I can say is successful today, I didn't get there by engaging in self-pity or feeling sorry for myself. And it wasn't laid out for me. I had to build it from the ground up. I had no training in business or finance. I had no training in economics. I had no training in trading. I had no training in running a business. You can either create your reality, or you can engage in self-pity about it. Another aspect of low self-confidence and mental toughness is needing approval or energy from others. If you're constantly needing to borrow energy from others and help from others and support from others, and it's not that we don't need these things and these things aren't useful, but if you're constantly needing to rely upon others to pick yourself up, to help you deal with the situation, then you don't have confidence in your inner abilities. You have, again, I've said this before, you have 100 billion neurons. You have trillions and trillions of connections, more neural connections than there are stars in the universe. You have enough brain capacity and power to deal with your situation. It's super important that we understand this. I am of the belief, and maybe I'm wrong in this, I'm willing to be wrong in this, but I am of the belief that there isn't a situation you encounter that you can't handle. That doesn't mean you're necessarily going to win every situation, but I am of the belief that there is no situation that you can't handle, that you can't manage, that you can't deal with effectively. If you couldn't, you wouldn't be in that situation. And so we have to be very important on being reliant upon others versus using them at the right time. Number 4 is pretty straightforward. If you're constantly thinking about what sucks or what is wrong, you're going to be problem focused. You're never going to really be directing your mind towards the solutions. It is very easy to think about what sucks in the world. And trust me, there's a lot that sucks. But there's also a lot of things that are right about the world. If I was to start thinking about politics, mostly it's pretty easy to think about what sucks in the world. I rarely find people who are saying, yeah, politics is great. Politics in my country is fantastic. The politicians of this world are awesome. I think by and large we can agree that that sucks. And it sucks that these are the leaders that are having huge impacts in terms of making decisions on what's the future of our country. Or, we can think about that all day. I spent 2 years reading about politics, and by the end of it, I had to just get rid of it because it's a pretty depressing subject. I can spend my time thinking about what sucks with the world of politics, or I can start doing things to change people's minds in the now, to have a positive impact upon people. This is super important. Number 5, running what if scenarios. And so what is a what if scenario? It's not an if then. It's kind of like, oh, what if I had, another $1 million and it'd be so easy for me to build this. Oh, what if I had, 10 other employees, I could do this. What if I had, another computer? What if I had this training? What if I had, what if I could sit with Chris Capri for, 6 months and trade with him? It's so easy to go through these what if scenarios. People who tend to go through what if scenarios, how could I say this? It's, if you hear yourself saying this, and if you hear others saying that, if you hear yourself saying this, it's super important that you catch yourself, you stop it and say, look, you could go through what if scenarios forever. There can always be a situation you can think of that is better than what you have right now, that you have more tools available right now. But Olympic champions and reaching the top of the mountain isn't built by going through what if scenarios. It's built by what you have right now and getting every ounce of it, getting every ounce out of it.